Hi, I'm Jack, and I've been consulting on this project as a former student of the Future in Leadership course.
My name is Sebastien. I am a Learning Innovation Officer at the Adam Smith Business School. I work in partnership with academic colleagues to enhance the student learning experience, with a focus on student-centered approaches such as games-based and outdoor learning.
My name is Matt. I'm the course convener for Futures in Leadership course, and I'm a leadership scholar at Adam Smith Business School. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation. This is about 3 perspectives on co-creating ecopedagogy within leadership education. And you'll be hearing from myself, from Jacqueline McCutcheon and Sebastien Marciak. First of all, I just want to start with the elephant, which is not in the room, if you like, which is the fact that we go outside to do a lot of our education. It's not exclusively outside, but I think of it as rewilding education, that is breaking out of the lecture theatre. I've been doing this for several years, and I've kind of followed this same path of breaking out of the classroom. But I'm aware that in a way I'm being a bit hypocritical because ecopedagogy is an emancipatory approach, and I've never really consulted my students or really anyone else on this. I've kind of jealously run it on my own. So now I'm going to introduce you to Jack and Seb, who are going to talk about our journey of co-creation.
So I participated in the Futures in Leadership course last year as a 4th year student. I didn't necessarily have any deep interest in leadership. The reason that I took the course was because Matt had taught me in 1st year and I liked his style of teaching. So when I seen that he was teaching it, I thought, I'll give this a go. And yeah, I'm still here in some capacity. I was invited to consult on the project using my experience as a former student. So last year I participated in the focus groups that took place at the end, and there was a strong feeling that traditional teaching methods often don't align with students' learning styles, and I would consider myself one of those students who really struggled to retain information in lectures. But I did retain all of it from this lecture, from this course. So yeah, we must be doing something right. It's different from the courses that we've done before. So there's naturally the excitement mixed with a bit of apprehension. And this year, what's really occurred to me is that there's a genuine desire to get this course right for students. And I think this project really highlights this. And when I spoke to students on the leadership day, and they were really interested in what my role was, and I think even the optics of that, of having a former student and a learning innovation officer involved in, designing their learning and consulting on this, it shows them that their learning matters, and they were really interested in what my role was. The changes that have took place since last year, they're evidence-based. It's using feedback garnered from last year, and also using our own insights. We could bounce ideas around, which was really good. It was great to be involved in that. The indoor-outdoor activities were more balanced, and I definitely felt there was more enthusiasm from the students on this year's leadership day. And I suspect that's because of the changes that were made, shifting from a full day to a half day. During my discussions with the students, their views aligned with my own experience, that the course gives real practical tools for navigating a leadership role. And I would say this course is the only course where I still refer back to my coursework, probably more often than I would like to admit. And this is just a screenshot of one of my assignments, which I call my roadmap. And it was a reflective exercise of where I was as a leader then and where I wanted to go. And I still use that assignment and other ones. So yeah, it was an interesting course, but it's also a really useful one.
So I started working with Matt on ecopedagogy just over a year ago. This was certainly new to me, so the first stage was to become familiar with the concept by exploring existing research on outdoor learning. One of our aim, if not maybe the main aim, is to create an eco-pedagogy unit within the business school to work in partnership with our academic colleagues to embed a series of activities and experiences to make learning more memorable, more meaningful. I feel that my role this year has been more of a consultant, maybe than a co-creator, maybe as at least we define it in higher education. But I actually enjoyed not wearing the learning designer hat per se, but instead allowed space for experimentation and really fully embraced the creative aspects of both this way of teaching and the partnership with Jack and Matt. So what my observations are, what struck me and what changed from last year. So I think being in an observer role allows to notice how students react to different teaching methods, which allows for adjustments to improve learning outcomes. But it also allows to observe student interactions, which helps identify potential co-creators. I facilitated last year and this year's student focus groups with the aim to identify the impact outdoor learning activities had on their learning experience. And overall, students responded really positively to this aspect of experiential learning, as Jack highlighted. Most said it was engaging, fun, it made them want to learn more, made them want to come on campus. It made it more memorable than a traditional lecture. So this year, not much difference in terms of favorable opinions towards more active learning through outdoor activities. But again, as Jack highlighted, the mix or the balance of indoor and outdoor activities was maybe more thoughtful. And I think students responded quite well to that. Okay, so the value of co-creation in higher education. I think for some, co-creation in higher education is no longer just an ideal, but a necessity, as it empowers students to innovate, to be adaptable, and to develop a stronger sense of ownership. I think given the experiential aspect of this course, the next logical step would be to get the students involved in co-creation fully, for example, by empowering them to have a say in how teaching is delivered.
So as the course convener, it was really interesting for me to try and coordinate for the first time between Jack and Seb and kind of bring that together. And the way that we did that was we used project management software called Basecamp, which I have a free subscription to as an educator. So it doesn't cost anything. It's an asynchronous environment. It's quite agricultural, but it does create somewhere where you can have these discussions and they are essentially asynchronous. So Jack has a very busy job. Seb and I also have busy jobs. So we don't know when we're going to get together. So this Basecamp was a great place where we could chat, and you can see an example of the chat there on the right. But essentially this started with changes that were made on using a focus group that we did last year with the students. We took the comments from the focus group and made various changes. So as I delivered a lecture in a different way, I would create field notes, post that on Basecamp, and you can see an example here from weeks 4 and 5, where I put out what the changes are and then how it went. And then Jack and Seb would reflect on that and make further suggestions. And also before I made changes, I would also consult with both Jack and Seb, and they both attended the field trip, which turned out to be a really, really great idea. And I'm really glad I did that. So my final reflections on this is that I was nervous to do this. I kind of had this idea that if I let go of control, I will kind of end up with something perhaps unpredictable. So it's quite hard to do that. But I'm so glad that I did it. It is just one kind of step along the way. It's not proper co-creation yet. But next year, I plan to do a fully integrated co-creation sessions, 1 or 2 sessions at least, that the students themselves can create themselves. But I'm going to keep keeping these field notes as well. I've already identified a consultant for next year. So in 3 years, we've gone from a strictly kind of power distance dynamic of teaching students to now a consulted version, and next year to a partially co-created. And who knows where that will take us from that point. So thank you for listening to our consultation on ecopedagogy. Jack, Seb, and I will now be available for questions. Thank you very much.